eagle-eyed amongst you might have realised that I reacted to this back in the day, but now that I'm older and wiser, I really wanted to dig into it. So interesting start.
Is there anyone at home? Come on now. I hear you feeling down, and I can ease your pain, get you on your feet again.
Now, of course, in the original, this was spoken by Roger Waters, and there was a whole host of arguments around this song as to what it may be. Roger Waters wanted this to just be a single voice, but with the big orchestral arrangement, whereas David Gilmour wanted less of that orchestral arrangement, but he wanted these harmonies in there. So this version is the version of David Gilmour rather than the entirety of Pink Floyd as it was originally. It has this kind of spoken sung section in the main melody which was originally there. What is actually the difference between singing and speaking? And in this range they're really, really similar. It is normally a little bit more pitched, however that melody isn't going outside of our normal speaking range, but maybe the pitch would go against your natural intonation in singing, whereas as I'm speaking now, I am following a pitch. I'm going up and down with my voice, but I'm not following a specific pattern. The same thing goes for rhythm. I have rhythm in my voice when I speak, but I'm not following a pattern. With singing, you're probably following a pattern. And the third thing is you might have elongated vowels, held notes. Now, actually, this doesn't have so many elongated vowels. There are little bits of it, and it is within that spoken range, so you are in a little bit of a crossover point, and it kind of gives it this eerie, weird feeling. But for the harmony, this higher harmony, you can hear that it sounds a little bit more sung, and that's because it's outside of the performer's natural speaking range, so it ends up having this more sung quality. Hello.
Is there anybody in there?
You can hear that on the high one, right?
If you can hear me,
Hear me. You actually put vibrato on. You don't do that when you speak. And there is the classic David Gilmour voice, and that feels sung. Now, there's another little difference between singing and speaking, and one of them is how you use your breath. When we speak, we might use a gentler breath flow. We might not support it quite as much as we would when we're singing, so it might not be using all the muscles around our rib cage in the same way. We might not be controlling that out breath and making it as consistent. You really need consistent breath for when you're singing, and you do a little bit for when you're speaking, but not quite to the same extent. So this at the start is breathier, but you need a gentler breath support to let it kind of float on top of there rather than pushing your breath through. You might give it a tiny little bit more squeeze as you go to this sung area, and I find it really difficult to describe breathing because words like squeeze tend to have different associations in our mind as singers, and often that makes people tense up or really drive their breath. But what I kind of imagine is your breath is like your lungs are a toothpaste tube, and you're just gently squeezing out the toothpaste. You are not, otherwise the toothpaste is going to go everywhere. So. Oh, I love how they're keeping brassing.
You are receding. A distant ship smoke on the horizon.
I think it's samples.
You are only coming through in waves. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I had a fever. My hands felt just like two balloons. Now I've got that feeling once again. I can't explain, you will not understand. This is not how I am.
There's some great singing there from the backing vocalists, and these backing vocalists really, really matching David Gilmour's natural singing style. No vibrato, straight, soaring vocals. They kind of fall off at the end of each phrase. I am. There's something that is really longing and emotional about that release and that pitch fall at the end of the phrase there. It feels very, very natural. I think that is just how he sings, but it so works for the feeling of this song. And as a backing vocalist, you have to match that lead singer. You have to match what is natural to them, even if it isn't natural to you. Oh, I love about grit. It's like raw power there, right? That's so interesting. I'm gonna go back and listen to the solo here properly. But what I find so interesting is he doesn't use much vibrato in his guitar playing, and I say this all the time, that I feel like instrumentalists, especially people whose first instrument is their instrument rather than their voice, they kind of mold their voice to their instrument because that is more their true voice. And his vocal style here is matching his playing style here. So for the people out there that feel that they really sing through their instruments, think about all those nuances that you use in your instruments and how can you put them into your voice. I also love how the intro of this song feels like suppression. It's very spoken, it's very internal. This chorus lifts up into release. It becomes very poignant. It's like throughout this song you're gaining awareness, and the guitar is having this dialogue with the vocals. It's like the guitar is the mind, or I don't know, the spirit lifting the singer up into awareness. It's so beautifully done. It's all about bend rather than vibrato here. So interesting. What I love is that you can hear that this is really, really live. The vocals aren't perfect. There's some pitch wobbles. It feels like you're listening to a real human experience, and I love that about live vocals. It's lovely to hear. These people that I admire so greatly are just there expressing who they truly are, and that's wonderful. Now, the orchestrations in this was quite a moment of contention, but was done by a guy called Michael Kamen, and he is fantastic. Michael Kamen, in fact, is known for orchestrating and writing the music for the X-Files, but here is a little bit of a clip of what is going on underneath this song. It's interesting because of this argument, this amazing orchestral track got made, and then it's quite low in the mix. I love it. I'm a big orchestra fan. I would be like, bring out the brass, boop, boop, boop. But they made it really, really subtle, and I think that was the right call in the end. In fact, this song is actually all about compromise, and that subtlety just supports everything, supports all those synths with this really organic underlayer. No pitch wobble, but human, right? Beautiful humans. Oh, it makes me emotional.
Just a little pinprick.
Brass.
There'll be no more.
I love that, like pinprick. Like everything's a musical metaphor there, and this massive big vocal stab.
But you may feel a little sick. Now can you stand up?
And the delay.
If it's working good, well that'll keep you going through the show. Come on, it's time to go. There is no pain, you are receding. A distant ship smoke on the horizon. You are only coming through in words. Your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying. When I was a child, I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye. I turned to look, but it was gone. I cannot put my finger on it now. Your child has grown, the dream is gone, and I have become comfortably numb.
Beautiful, right? Ah! Okay, before we get into this next guitar solo, as I said, this whole song was devised out of compromise, and David Gilmour said that this was the last embers of his ability to be able to work with Roger. Now, David Gilmour put together a demo of the chorus melody for a solo record, and this is kind of what it sounded like. And when they got into the studio, Roger started writing his verses, and these were based on an experience where he had been injected with tranquilizers for stomach cramps before he went on stage in 1977. And when he completed the lyrics and David Gilmour had this melody, the producer looked at it and was like, whoa, this just gives me goosebumps. Yet there was so many arguments. They argued about the orchestration, they argued about the rhythm tracks, and the rhythm tracks are the bass and the guitar and how fluid or how tight and precise they were going to be. And that meant that they ended up recording two versions and combining them together. And both of them recognized that now when they look back, they don't know whose version is at which part. And perhaps it's the sum of that compromise. Maybe we can learn a lot about songwriting. Maybe we can learn a lot about life from combining the ideas of people that look at things from different angles. Because that middle point is this. It's beautiful. It's emotional. song always gets me, you know? Oh, I love that change there. As we move towards the end section of this, I had this thought of why this feels so perfect. As individuals, we all have different parts of ourselves, the different parts of ourselves that often argue. You know, I have an inner critic or a part of me that is annoyed at that inner critic, and it can be really difficult to find that balance between them in our own minds. And this song, to me, really embodies the ability to find that balance. It is that moment of balance. It had to be to create it. And the lyrics express this desire to release yourself from this numbness, to feel again, to gain self-awareness, to gain your sensitivity back. These opposing sung defense mechanisms give way to the feeling of the guitar and the orchestration and the rhythm. Mwah, gorgeous. Shivers down my spine. I feel like you're being lifted up into space or something. And brought down to earth at the same time. It feels like everything and nothing at all. So the sun is opening up. Oh, this is like this moment of release after the restraint and the tension of the vocals. You're having this push and pull, this argument, this tension between the characters, and the vocals create this musical landscape at the start that the music expands upon. It speaks in a way that words cannot express, beyond what words can express. Language is limited, but music can take us to places and help us understand things that we can never understand by words alone. And this is a true example of that. I love this piece of music because it shows how bringing people from opposite opinions together can make the most beautiful, beautiful thing. Before you go, I have just released my very own album called Fable. It is available on my website, bethrose.com, and some of the songs are available here on YouTube and on Spotify, and I would love if you could check them out and give them a listen and let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please do like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.